He slammed the door and laughed, thinking she was broken forever. She stood there shaking, drugged and alone, unaware that the night meant to erase her would bind her fate. To the most feared man in the city, the first thing she felt was cold tile against her cheek and the echo of her own breath racing too fast. Her vision swam, lights smeared into soft halos, and a voice somewhere far away spoke in a calm tone that did not match the danger in the room. She tried to sit up and failed. Her body refused her commands, heavy and distant, like it belonged to someone else. In that moment, fear did not scream. It whispered. It told her she had lost control again. Amina had escaped an abusive marriage 3 nights before. She had walked away with nothing but a torn jacket, a swollen wrist, and a quiet promise to herself that she would not return. The city had felt loud and cruel that night, but also full of air. Freedom tasted sharp and clean. She did not know that someone would watch her drink at a small bar, see her loneliness as an opening, and slip danger into her glass with a steady hand. When she woke on the floor of her private room, wrapped in a blanket that smelled of clean linen and faint smoke, she did not understand where she was. She did not remember consenting to anything. She remembered the drink burning cold, then nothing. Panic rose like a wave, but it broke when she saw the man across the room. He stood by the window, tall and still, wearing a dark suit without a crease. His face was calm, almost gentle, but his eyes held weight. Not cruel, not kind, simply aware. This was Kang Min Jae, a name whispered in the city with fear and respect. Leader of a powerful Korean crime family. A man who owned rooms, streets, and silence. He turned and saw the terror on her face. Something shifted in him then. He had been told she was a willing guest. He saw the truth in her shaking hands and unfocused eyes. The air between them changed. He called for help, for water, for a doctor. He ordered the room cleared. He did not touch her again. He did not raise his voice. He only said that what was done would not be allowed to stand. Amina slept for hours after that, safe but confused, guarded by strangers who treated her with quiet care. When she woke again, her body hurt but her mind was clear. Min Jae did not ask for thanks. He did not ask for silence. He told her she could leave whenever she wished. He told her the man who drugged her would be found. She left before sunrise, stepping into the street with the same torn jacket and a heavier heart. She told herself she would forget the night. She told herself she wanted no ties to men with power over others. She wanted a life where no one could cage her again. Years passed. Amina rebuilt herself slowly. She worked long shifts as a nurse aide, then trained as a trauma counselor. She learned the language of pain and how to sit with it without turning away. Her hands became steady. Her voice became calm. The city still scared her at times, but she learned its rhythms. She learned where she belonged. The past did not vanish. It lived in her muscles and dreams. Loud noises still made her flinch. The smell of smoke still tightened her chest. She carried those scars quietly, like medals no one could see. One winter evening, a young woman collapsed in the clinic lobby. She was shaking, eyes glassy, words tangled. Amina recognized the signs immediately. Her heart pounded as memory surged, but her hands did not shake. She guided the woman to a chair, wrapped her in a blanket, and spoke softly until the fog lifted. When the police arrived, they asked harsh questions. They doubted the woman. They glanced at Amina with thin smiles. The room filled with the familiar weight of disbelief. Amina felt the old anger rise, hot and dangerous. She breathed through it. She stood between the woman and the questions. She spoke with calm certainty. She listed symptoms, timelines, facts. She did not raise her voice. She did not beg. The officers left with clipped apologies. The woman cried into Amina's shoulder. In that moment, Amina understood her purpose. Silence could be armor. Calm could be power. Across the city, Kang Min Jae read a report about a counselor who had intervened in a case that threatened one of his own operations. He saw the name and froze. He remembered the woman who had woken on his floor years ago, eyes wide with fear and resolve. He ordered the report. He ordered the network to pull back. Their lives brushed past each other like shadows until the night violence returned to Amina's doorstep. Her ex-husband found her. He cornered her outside the clinic, words sharp, breath sour. He spoke of ownership, and regret twisted into blame. Passersby slowed, but did not stop. The city watched and stayed silent. Amina stood still. Her heart raced, but her voice remained level. She told him to leave. He laughed. He reached for her arm. Before his hand landed, a car door opened nearby. Men stepped out, suits stark against the streetlight. They did not shout. They did not threaten. They simply stood there, eyes steady. Min Jae stepped forward last. Time seemed to bend. He looked at the man reaching for Amina, and then at Amina herself. Recognition passed between them like a quiet spark. He spoke one sentence, low and even. "No violence belongs here." The man froze. Fear drained the color from his face. He stumbled back, muttering excuses. He ran out. Min Jae turned to Amina. He bowed, his head slightly. He told her he was glad she had found her strength. He told her the city had many ways to fail people, but some chose to protect instead. She felt a rush of emotion she had buried for years. Anger, relief, gratitude. She did not thank him. She did not ask questions. She met his gaze and nodded. That was enough. From that night on, things shifted. Amina Clinic received quiet support. Donations appeared without names. Threats faded. Women who had been afraid to speak came forward. A network moved behind the scenes, not to control, but to shield. Min Jae watched from a distance. He did not claim credit. He did not seek redemption in words. He changed how his power moved through the city. He redirected it. He listened more. There came a public moment when a corrupt official tried to shut down the clinic. A hearing was called. The room filled with murmurs and doubt. Amina sat alone at the table, hands folded, eyes forward. One by one, people stood. Nurses, patients, social workers, even men in dark suits who spoke with measured respect. Evidence appeared. Funds traced, lies unraveled. The official shrank under the weight of silent opposition. The clinic remained open. The crowd rose in quiet respect. Amina felt tears sting her eyes. She did not cry. She breathed and smiled softly. Later, she walked home under clear skies. She thought of the night she had woken on cold tile, afraid and powerless. She thought of the years it took to reclaim herself. She understood now that survival was not the end. Choice was. Min Jae stood on a balcony across the city, watching lights flicker on and off. He understood that power did not have to crush to be strong. He understood that one moment of restraint could echo longer than years of fear. 3 lines echoed through the story of that city, passed quietly from mouth to mouth. Silence does not mean weakness. Dignity is a form of strength no one can steal. The bravest battles are often fought without a single raised voice. Amina continued her work, never seeking fame. She carried her past, without letting it define her. She protected others the way she had once needed protection. Years later, when asked why she never spoke about the night that changed her life, she simply said that some storms teach you how to stand in the rain, and that lesson belongs to the soul. This story is a reminder that respect can arrive quietly, that strength can be gentle, and that unseen battles shape the heroes among us. If this story moved you, share where you were watching from and what moments stayed with you. Subscribe for more stories that honor silent strength and the courage it takes to choose dignity over fear.